if you have not heard of Politics Girl, you are going to hear of her now. I have seen her clips before on Twitter. The very first clip I saw of her, I was very much convinced that I believe that this woman is a plant. That's what I believe. I don't have actual proof, but she had a video recently go viral, basically begging people that you should still support Joe Biden regardless, and that Joe Biden should not be primary challenged. I kid you not. We're going to watch this. I'm going to chime in between because I have some things to say. I really do believe this woman is a plant. I don't think this is her doing her own thing here. I think she was put in place to keep people in the Democratic Party. Listen to this.
Listen, Democrats, can we please stop talking about primarying Joe Biden? Who should run against Joe Biden? Will Democrats get behind Joe Biden? This many Democrats want an alternative to Joe Biden. Can we just not? The absolute last thing democracy needs right now is a Democratic primary. We're in late.
Pause. Okay. Let's look at a couple of things here. Let's look at her surroundings. So she looks like she might be in her kitchen. That's what it looks like. Yeah, because I see bananas hanging up in the background. Let me tell you what they're trying to do, okay? See, I wasn't born yesterday. What they have done is they have taken this woman who I feel is supposed to represent like I'm a housewife kind of image. They put this woman in her kitchen to make it seem like it is an authentic, I don't know, low budget, just an everyday woman that just put up a camera in her kitchen and decided to just talk. This is what they have done. Notice she doesn't have a studio. I don't have a studio either, but what you see here is real, okay? And people have seen me progress over time. But this woman came out of nowhere. I told you, be very wary about the people who come out of nowhere and they just blow up. Immediately, they're viral. I've always said before, I think some of these people are plants. So what they've done, if they're tricking the viewer, because they want the viewer to believe that this is just an everyday person who just put up a camera, could be her phone that she's using, and she's just talking to the camera. People fell for this same stunt with Brooklyn Dad. And then it was revealed later on that Brooklyn Dad was like, apparently he was hired by the DNC and all this kind of stuff. And I've said this before, there's no way someone comes out of nowhere and they just immediately take off like that. That does not happen. That happens to people who are already known. That happens to people who are celebrities, people who already have a large following because people know who they are. It does not happen to everyday Joe Schmoes. Even people, if you think about it, even people like Kyle Kulinski, who has a large following, it's not like he blew up out of nowhere. He's been doing this for years, and that's going back to before they had started to suppress independent media. And look how long it took him to get to, you see the point I'm trying to make? So this is what they're doing. They're trying to make it seem like just everyday Joe Schmo person that's just doing a video out of their kitchen so that you don't think that they're controlled opposition. But it is what it is. Just look at the surroundings. Look, you got the bananas up here that look like they're starting to get a little ripe with the brown on them. She's got little pictures put up behind her to show she's just an everyday busy woman. She's got, I think this is a pot right in front of her. A pot or something right in front of her. This is all a scam. LB said, yeah, she fake. This is a scam. Let's go on. Now, she just told you that we need to keep our democracy going, right? So we can't have anyone primary challenge Joe Biden. That doesn't make any sense. If you have real democracy, then people should be able to run. Now, I told you guys this before, I don't support either party anymore. So it doesn't matter to me if someone's primary challenging Joe Biden. But If someone wants to have the opportunity to do that, they should be able to do that. So you see, her words doesn't even make any sense. We should have a democracy, but no one should be able to challenge him. Let's go on.
Stage capitalism with a corrupt Supreme Court on a knife's edge between autocracy and democracy, and people want to spend $100 million to undermine our successful incumbent when the alternative is the twice impeached criminal ex-president or the man who is single-handedly turning Florida into a fascist dictatorship? Why? I know people are excited for fresh young leaders with bright new ideas, but those fresh young leaders will never get a chance if we don't protect democracy now. The fact is, Joe Biden has gotten more accomplished.
We got to go back. Hold on. Guys, watch her mannerisms. Watch.
Is the twice impeached criminal ex-president or the man who is single-handedly turning Florida into a fascist dictatorship? Why?
This woman is an actress. I would not be surprised if she's a paid actress. These things happen. These things do happen. Look at her. Look at her facial expressions. Over exaggerated. She says Joe Biden has done such a great job, yet she doesn't tell you what he's done. You see these talking points? Okay. Let's go on.
I know people are excited for fresh young leaders with bright new ideas, but those fresh young leaders will never get a chance if we don't protect democracy now. The fact
that doesn't make any sense. This is an actress, you guys. I hope people can see this. I know that people are excited for fresh young faces with new ideas. I feel like I'm watching a commercial. LB says, you're right, Sabby. She's a paid actress. This woman is paid. This is a joke, right?
Fact is, Joe Biden has gotten more accomplished in 2 years than any president in the history of presidents. In an increasingly cynical world, Joe Biden is a decent man with an incredible...
Okay, in an increasingly cynical world, Joe Biden has gotten more accomplished. Why is the world cynical? Could it be because people can't afford groceries right now? Could it be because the homeless population continues to increase? Could it be because you have people boggled down with student loan debt? You see, this is the part I want people to push back on. She admits that the world is cynical, but she doesn't go on to tell you why the world is cynical. She says that Joe Biden is a decent man without telling you what makes him decent. What does make him decent? Is it the crime bill? Is it the statements that he made to the civil rights leaders where he told them now's not the time? Does that make him decent? Is it the statements that he made on the Senate floor when he told people that he wanted to get rid of Medicare and he wanted to get rid of Social Security? Does that make him decent? Are the accusations that Tara Reid has against him for sexual assault, does that make Joe Biden decent? For the efforts that he has made to try to cover up this issue with Hunter Biden's laptop, does that make him decent? For the sanctions that he's put on countries abroad, has that make him decent? What makes him decent? Let's go on.
Staff who knows what he's doing and has thoughtful plans for the future of this country that include women's rights and gay rights and workers' rights and voters' rights and higher minimum wage and lower healthcare costs and environmental protections. It could be argued that the biggest reason democracy...
She's lying. Let's go back on. Listen to this. Let me move this down just a little bit so I can get the... Okay, here we go.
Country that include women's rights and gay rights and workers' rights and voters' rights and higher minimum wage and lower healthcare costs and environmental protections.
Higher minimum wage, the $15 minimum wage that was voted down by 7 Democrats? Environmental protection laws. She's just going to leave out the fact that he approved the Willow Project to drill oil in Alaska? Do you guys see? The sad thing is, a lot of people aren't going to check any of this stuff that she's saying. Any of the stuff she's saying. Women's rights. Let's remember, Joe Biden was not really for abortion. Not really for it. He admitted to you last year, we're not going to codify Roe v. Wade. After people came out to vote for Democrats in the midterms because they were hoping that that protection would happen.
It could be argued that the biggest reason democracy is winning in this David and Goliath story in Ukraine is because Joe Biden had the foreign policy experience and humility to gather world leaders together and build a coalition to support them.
What is she talking about? Okay, we're going to get into Ukraine later on today. Okay. I'll show you if they're actually winning or not. We're going to get into that. She's just saying a lot of fluff without giving details. You could put this woman on an infomercial. She is not real. Ay, ay, ay.
He can run on all of that. We don't need to replace him. We need to.
He can run on all of that. I just dismantled most of the things that she said, but he can run on that. She's about to say we need to spend our time and money. Listen to this. Now she's going to talk about money.
Spend our time and money giving him a bigger majority in Congress so he can get even more accomplished. Yeah.
He had a majority in Congress. The Democrats had the House. They lost the House. He had the majority in Congress. Notice what she just asked you to do without saying donate. She said, we need to spend our time and our money. So here she goes, asking you to donate money to the Democratic Party. You see how this works? Don't spend your time and money on direct action. Don't spend your time and money on mutual aid. Spend your time and money on helping him get a bigger majority in Congress. You cannot tell me this woman is not paid. Look at the facial expressions. Actress, infomercial, commercial.
He's old. He talks old. He's a goofy grandpa who says things like malarkey. Who cares? By every measurable metric,
he's old. He talks old. He's a goofy grandpa. There's a difference between being old and having cognitive decline. And we can see the difference with Joe Biden. We can tell that Joe Biden doesn't know where he is half the time. Joe Biden has trouble completing sentences when he's giving press conferences. We see this. Whew.
He's an excellent leader. If we didn't have lying.
How? How is he an excellent leader? See, they don't tell you how. Has Joe Biden been to East Palestine, Ohio yet? No, he hasn't. So people have been poisoned there by harmful chemicals. President hasn't even shown up. But he's an excellent leader?
Propaganda networks and self-serving chaos agents constantly trying to sell us on the idea that he's some demented evil pedophile out to ruin the country. And you just looked at the...
Look at what she just said. I told you they're all using the same words. Listen to this.
Who says things like malarkey. Who cares? By every measurable metric, he's an excellent leader. If we didn't have lying propaganda networks and self-serving chaos agents.
That word right there, chaos. They're all using it. It's the same word that Pramila Jayapal, Jamal Bowman, AOC, all of them used that word when they were talking about the Freedom Caucus forcing the vote against Kevin McCarthy. They kept saying chaos. You see, anything now that is outside of this realm of just supporting and voting for the incumbent because they're the incumbent, anything outside of that now, they're starting to describe it as chaos. They all have the same talking points. I told you the vocabulary is very important. And they're doing that on purpose because they want the American people to be brainwashed to a sense that they will actually start to feel like if I do anything that's outside of this duopoly, that's considered to be chaotic, and chaotic is bad.
Constantly trying to sell us on the idea that he's some demented, evil pedophile out to ruin the country, and you just looked at the facts of his presidency on paper, there would be...
And what idea are you trying to sell people on? Look at her eyes, you guys. I wonder if she ever sold cars.
Zero debate he was doing a bang-up job.
What's a bang-up job? No examples.
You don't spend $100 million undermining your own party to defeat someone who's doing a bang-up job.
That's twice in a row. Bang-up job, bang-up job. You don't spend $100 million. What is she talking about? To undermine your own party. This is the partisan politics that I always will point to. This is the partisan politics in the sense that you're just supposed to support who the party selects, and that's it. You're not supposed to recommend anyone else. You're not supposed to support anyone else. That's chaotic.
You run your successful sitting president, and you spend the resources you would have spent on a primary building the infrastructure that will defeat your opposition.
Why do we need to spend money to help Joe Biden? Why do we need to do that? We don't. Oh my God.
You know, the party who wants to take your vote and force you to have a baby and tell you what you can read and what you can teach and what you can know. The people.
You see what's happening? And this is not to say there aren't criticisms of the Republican Party, but let's be real. The Democratic Party, they didn't codify Roe v. Wade into law. They had plenty of years to do that, didn't do it. You want to talk about the parties that tell you what you can teach? I hate to tell you this, but take partisan politics out of it. As someone who's worked in education, there's this thing called the school board, and there is a curriculum, and you have to teach what's on the curriculum, regardless if you're Democrat, Republican, etc. How to dress and how to act. Doesn't that happen in corporate America? The party passing laws to tell people how to dress and how to act, regardless if you're Democrat or Republican. That happens in corporate America. That happens in higher ed. I was told how to dress and how to act. Give me a break.
Passing laws to tell people how to dress and how to act and what they can do with their own bodies. The party calling for a national divorce.
What they can do with their own bodies? Didn't one of these parties tell you? Didn't one of these parties mandate a jab? Does that have anything to do with your own body? Look at her. Look at her. And suggesting that maybe Democrats shouldn't get to vote at all.
And suggesting that maybe Democrats shouldn't get to vote at all.
Doesn't the Democratic Party also do redistricting? Isn't that what happened to Mondaire Jones? They redrew his district. Didn't they redraw Dennis Kucinich's district to the point where he had no district, so he no longer had a seat? But she's not going to tell people that. Both parties do that.
Party that wants to get rid of everything from Social Security to public schools.
Joe Biden also wanted to get rid of Social Security. Oh my God, I can't.
Who have already passed laws to strip women of their rights and make trans people detransition and force private companies to toe their policy line. You don't give those people the gift of fighting amongst yourselves. You spend your time and money working to put down that fascist, authoritarian, white Christian nationalist uprising taking over half the country.
Do you see how this is framed? That's the third time she's told you to spend your time and money.
Joe Biden is better than any alternative the Republicans could put up. So if you want to win, how you feel about him is irrelevant. We don't.
What? So she said, how you feel about him doesn't even matter. That you should just support him just because.
Don't need a new presidential candidate in 2024.
The majority of Democrats disagree with you. The majority of Democrats do not want Joe Biden to run again in 2024. That's not my opinion. That's coming from the polls. So do you see what's happening? This is exactly why she's making these kinds of videos. This is why they got her. She paid. They got her coming out here to try to keep people to continue to support Joe Biden, because they know the poll numbers show the majority of Democrat voters don't want Joe Biden to run in 2024. That's why you have people like her to convince you to continue to support him, even though we all know Joe got to go. That's why.
We need to keep the Senate and flip the House.
We have the House. Maybe she should be asking why we lost the House. Why did Democrats lose the House? Why did Democrats lose the House? We need to fill the states with AGs who believe in the rule of law. Listen to this.
We need to fill the states with AGs who believe in the rule of law and legislators who believe in democracy.
What democracy? They continue to use this word. All of them are doing it. All of the Democrat politicians, all of them are doing it. We have to protect our democracy. How so? What do you mean by democracy? What do you mean by democracy when third parties can't even get on every ballot? What do you mean by democracy when independent candidates can't get on every ballot? What do you mean by democracy when you won't even let everybody debate?
We need to pay attention to our school boards. Our current president is successful and he can win.
Successful how? And if he can win, why do you feel the need to do this video? If there is no doubt in her mind whether or not Joe Biden is going to do well in 2024, why is she coming out with these videos?
We need to pick our battles right now. And a Democratic primary, it just isn't one of them.
What? See, this is a problem. This is a problem. We need to pick our battles right now. Who is she to tell the American people what your battle should be? For some people, their battle is healthcare. For some people, their battle is their employer. And they're trying to find ways to leave their job because it's not a good place to work. For some people, their battle is their pay. For some people, their battle is paying for groceries right now, paying for gas, putting food on the table, finding a place to live. All these tent communities popping up across the United States of America. And she's here to let you know that this should not be your battle. While she talks to you from her kitchen. That's right, John to Emily. We don't have a democracy. No. So she's basically telling you, especially for those of you who are working class and those who are poor, sorry, poors. Now's not the time to fight. You ever notice that? It's never the time. It's never the time. Now's not the time. Joe Biden said to the civil rights leaders, now's not the time. Ro Khanna told Breonna Joy Gray, basically, now's not the time to fight for Medicare for all. We have a better chance in 2028. It's never the time. Jamal Bowman, when he was approached by protesters recently, I'm playing the long game. Never the time. He said it wasn't the time to fight for human rights. It's never the time because they never wanted to be the time, because they don't plan on doing it.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. So Kitchen Karen, she's come out of nowhere. She's come out of nowhere and she seriously just blew up. One, she's positive about Joe Biden, so that's really going to help her. But you cannot tell me this woman is not paid. I think she's in the same category as Brooklyn Dad. They're pulling out all the stops, you guys. They're pulling out all the stops. And like what they do, like I said before, let me show you. They have her in her kitchen to make it look like she's just some regular chick on the block in her kitchen, just streaming from her phone or whatever, giving you advice about what you should do come 2024. They did the same thing with Brooklyn Dad and he was outed, and I'm pretty sure she'll be outed too. What's this called? Liz Kitchen Karen. Kitchen Karen. That's like, I don't get this. And her over-exaggerated facial expressions. I think that woman is an actress. I really do. Thank you for the super chat. Yep, X. Before I leave, when it comes to politics, girl, just like with Brooklyn Dad, she's a paid DNC shill. She works for the Midas Touch Group. I remember them. Look them up on Open Secrets. They are a pro-Democrat propaganda outlet. Yes, I remember hearing about them. You guys see, this woman she's an actress. She's Black. Her and AOC have the same acting coach. LOL. Roger Meadows, thank you for the super chat. She is utterly false, filled with complete fiction. Thanks for the super chat, Steve. Political girl is propaganda. Yes, yes. This is just, thank you, M. Smith, for the super chat. The way he's treating Ohio is decent. Great guy. And thanks for the super chat, Steve. Kitchen Karen fits. Yeah, look, especially nowadays, you don't blow up like that on YouTube, coming out of nowhere, and you're doing political discussions. You don't. She's a plant. She is a plant. I'll take that comment on Rockfin, Eric. Thank you for the tip, Dave, on Rockfin. Chaos unites the top half, the upper classes against the majority poor. The language of chaos unites property and order against the bottom huge percent of people that are poor. Well said. Well said. She's on the set of Modern Family. Thanks for the super chat, The Traveler. Politics girl makes $200,000 a year. You see that? See this?